What would you say are some mistakes that you're seeing people make when it comes to Etsy that maybe are resulting obviously in no sales or just their shop not getting noticed?
Yeah, really great question. So, what most people struggle with is I'll give two examples. So, number one is putting their items up on Etsy and just expecting sales to come. So, this is something that I see a lot of people do is they're like, okay, cool. I'm bought in on Etsy. This is great. Let me go and like put my products up there and I'm going to expect sales to just come in every single day.
Yeah.
So, like any platform, it's not that simple, right? That's like posting on Instagram once and expecting sales to come in every single day. Any type of platform, if it's Instagram, if it's your website, if it's Etsy, if it's selling on a fair, they require you to actually know how to work with the algorithm to get your product seen. So I think the first mistake is expectations, right? To get results on Etsy, to see massive success on Etsy, it requires you to stand out from the rest. It's not doing something 50% and then expecting massive results. It's doing something 100% to get those amazing results. So there is work required on Etsy, but the beautiful part is as you elevate your brand, your business on Etsy, you're elevating your brand and business on your own website with the same exact tactics, on Instagram with the same exact tactics. So that's why I love teaching Etsy because it's not just Etsy, Etsy, Etsy. It's elevating your business to stand out against everyone else by becoming the best in terms of your keywords, in terms of your photos, in terms of your description, how you talk about your products, in terms of your reviews. The more you elevate that on Etsy, it's not just Etsy, it carries over to use all of that amazing work that and foundation that you're laying and put it on your website. Put it up on your Instagram too as you're getting amazing reviews or as you're learning how to talk about your products in the description, as you're getting professional photos to really highlight your products. Great, use that on your other platforms too. So, biggest mistake is number one, expectations, expecting massive results without actually putting in the work. Second mistake, which I kind of alluded to, is photos. This is one of the biggest mistakes that I see. If you are running a business and you want to have amazing results, you have to act like that business owner who gets amazing results. It's not going to be the DIY photos. It's not going to be the DIY branding. It's not going to be the DIY labels in my example with skincare. It's going to be the professional photos that show you take your business seriously, that make you stand out against everyone else selling skincare on Etsy. So, for example, in the skincare example that we're talking about here, there are people on Etsy who are selling skincare for like $10 with a label that's handwritten. And then there were my products, which were branding was spot on, labels were spot on, professional photos. And it was $30 per bottle instead of $10 per bottle. When someone is on Etsy, they see that difference and they're going to trust the brand, the business, the artist that is actually taking their business seriously and putting their best foot forward. So a lot of people don't want to spend the money on professional photos, don't want to invest in their business, but the name of the game is as a small business owner, as an artist, we aren't doing anything that's proprietary, right? I think if with an
Mhm.
artist, you have your beautiful, unique style, but you still have to showcase that. You still have to pitch yourself. You still have to sell yourself. You still have to be in the places where people are shopping. And the more you focus on that, the more you focus on learning marketing and learning platform optimization, that's going to carry you. That's going to give you that passive income revenue stream on Etsy. That's going to get you in front of the right customers. So knowing like what is required of you, right? What are you doing to stand out from the rest? What are you doing above and beyond? How are you differentiating? How are you becoming the best option for the person that's searching for what you sell? And that will carry you on any platform. And I think that mentality is what helped me to grow my business to multiple six figures because as I elevated across every single platform, people notice that. People will go to my website, cool, like this is a serious, credible business and I'm learning and these products sound awesome. I'm going to buy them. People will go on my Instagram and see the same thing. They would go on Etsy and see the same thing. They would go on Fair Marketplace and see the same thing. So it's truly just that evolution of how do you stand out by becoming the best because it's saturated out there. No matter what we sell, what we make, if there's no patent on it, I mean, it's pretty saturated and there's people doing similar things. So it comes down to differentiating yourself and taking it seriously, because if you do it right, it can be an amazing revenue stream. I have over 5,000 orders on Etsy. So that's 5,000 additional people that I maybe would have never gotten in front of. But you can make it something that's awesome and brings customers to you as long as you put in that legwork and get it to that spot.
Well, definitely. And I think it, touching on what you said, it comes down to credibility. I mean, I think, yes, it's a saturated market. Yes. But also when you're selling online, I mean, people can't see you in person, touch it, feel it, like they don't know what they're going to get. And I think when you have really great photos, you go through everything as a professional, people are going to assume you're a professional. I mean, there's definitely been times when I've been on, Etsy or Amazon, or, you buy from these really small people and I'm like, is this even going to come in the mail? Like, is this
Right.
going to come and
Yep.
not be great? And I think when you see something that's, a blurry photo and it's only $5, you're like, what am I going to get? And I personally, from the skincare route, if I'm buying something that I want to clear up my skin, I'm probably going to pay a little more of a premium for something that looks like it's going to do the job and looks like it was well made, not, thrown together and then written on with a Sharpie, because
Right.
is that going to make my skin worse? I don't know.
Yeah, and that's I love that you say that, because so many people think on Etsy they have to be the cheapest. They're like, the only way I can be successful is if I'm the cheapest one because everyone's trying to undercut me. I agree with you 100%. If people are on Etsy, like there's one of two things happening. Number one, there are small businesses out there who are just trying to make a quick buck that are probably not giving a great experience, right? The photo looks like one thing, you get something else. Does it even arrive? Like you said, does it take 5 weeks to get to you? So when shoppers are on Etsy, they're looking for the small business owner they can trust. So you can create trust by your photos, your description, your reviews. And also, another way that you can create trust is essentially like having your entire brand store outlined on Etsy, showing that you're taking it seriously, and by having premium pricing.
Right.
So, perfect example of what you said. If there's a $5 something or 30, 40, 50, you trust the one that's more expensive. And so many people think they have to be the cheapest on Etsy. But from my perspective, since there are some small business owners that are trying to make a quick buck, when people are shopping on Etsy, they'd rather pay a premium to know confidently that they're going to get what they're expecting. They're going to pay that because they're like, I don't want the $5 thing that who knows if it's going to arrive. I'll pay 30, 40, 50 because this looks credible. This looks like legit. This is a true business. So that's one thing I love to tell people, because a lot of people fixate on price, that other people are undercutting them. Well, cool. That's actually a disadvantage to those people because it shows
Right.
low quality. That's what people associate. And one example I have too is one of my members who sells absolutely beautiful gemstone necklaces, authentic gemstones that are between $300 to $450 per piece. A lot of people would be like, you can't sell that on Etsy. Everyone's going on Etsy for cheap stuff. We've been working together for a few months and she has already over 20 sales. So you can see
Wow.
how, if you do the math, like that's awesome, right? Cool. And there is an appetite for high quality, premium, priced properly items on Etsy. And that's where you want to get in front of those shoppers and not like the bargain hunters that are on there, right?
Well, exactly. And I think people shopping for art, a lot of the time, and you're always going to have the like Target art, the home goods art, but if people are looking for an original piece, they're usually willing to pay a little bit more. And I remember in college, my marketing professor said price is not a differentiator. Like she was like, you cannot be the best if you're the lowest price. She's like, there'll always be Walmart. There'll always be someone that
Yeah.
can undercut you for whatever reason. So she was like, low price isn't what's going to make you better. And that's always stuck with my head. And I don't think that means you need to be the highest price either, but you can't just be the lowest to do well. And I think this is the perfect example that, yeah, sometimes being the lowest actually hurts you. I mean, people are like,
Yep.
why, especially with art, I'd be like, why is it priced so low? Like, what
Yeah.
materials is she using that allowed her to sell this for $5? So, yeah, it's about finding that price point that makes sense for you and building credibility, because then people are like, yes, clearly this is worth that cost.
Yes. I love it. 100%.